Very good morning. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, Ukraine says elections could happen with Western help. Russia continues to strike, launches overnight air attack on northern Ukraine. Police in the US are treating Sunday shooting and killing of 3 black people in Florida as a hate crime, as records reveal the white man who purchased the guns did so legally. India's Space Research Organization has released the first set of data sent by Chandrayaan 3 mission, saying the temperature on the moon's surface goes up sharply with an increase in altitude. And India's Neeraj Chopra wins historic gold in javelin final, becomes first Indian athlete to win a gold medal at the World Athletics Championships. All right, news in detail. Now, Russia has launched an overnight air attack on northern and central Ukraine. Air defenses were activated, with officials reportedly downing 4 cruise missiles. An air alert was announced throughout the country. Meanwhile, Moscow reported more drone attacks against Russian cities. DD India's Dasha Charnishova has more from Moscow.
Russian Ministry of Defense says it has carried out a high-precision strike against a Ukrainian airfield near Pinchuki in Kiev region. All designated targets, according to the ministry, have been destroyed. It also says that Russian troops have successfully repelled 5 attacks by Ukrainian forces in the Uspenovka and the Robotyno districts of the Zaporizhia region. And in the Kupiansk direction, Moscow says it has repelled 11 attacks by Ukraine and hit up to 120 military personnel. In the meantime, a multi-story residential building in Russia's Kursk region was hit by a Ukrainian drone, according to Kursk governor Roman Starovoyt. No one was hurt, but a number of windows was shattered. Another Ukrainian drone was shot down in Russia's Bryansk region that borders Ukraine. Separately, Russia's investigative committee has confirmed the death of Yevgeny Prigozhin, Wagner boss. Formal genetic analysis proved the identities of all 10 victims. They correspond to the list stated in the flight list, according to the authorities. Dasha Charnishova reporting in Moscow for DD India.
And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says wartime elections could happen with Western support. This is in response to the calls by a US Senator to announce elections in 2024. Zelensky stressed that elections were possible if Europe and the US financially backed the war-torn country. Moreover, he said that elections cannot currently be held under martial law, which must be extended every 90 days and will next expire on November 15th. Zelensky announced martial law in Ukraine soon after Russia launched its full-scale attack in February 2022. The law allowed military forces to take control of the civilian government. The Ukrainian president also talked about additional voting access for millions of Ukrainian refugees overseas, especially across the European nation.
We need Europe to help us for the most part, because Ukrainians are in the majority in the European Union today, and we need to open up appropriate opportunities there so that people could come to the polls. We don't have such infrastructural capabilities. 7 million people have to vote. We need every vote.
Russia's investigation committee says genetic tests have confirmed the identities of the 10 people who died in a plane crash last Wednesday, including Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin. The 62-year-old spearheaded a mutiny against Russia's top army brass in June, which President Vladimir Putin said could have tipped the country into civil war. The mutiny was ended by negotiations and an apparent deal which saw Prigozhin agree to relocate to neighboring Belarus. Meanwhile, Russians are paying tribute to Prigozhin with a makeshift memorial set up in the center of Moscow as people leave flowers and light candles. A man has shot dead 3 people in Jacksonville, Florida before fatally shooting himself. The gunman has been identified by police as Ryan Christopher Palmita. Police say the crime was racially motivated, stating that he wrote off his hatred of black people. The 21-year-old fired 11 rounds at one woman sitting in her car in Jacksonville before entering a shop and shooting another 2 people. Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters said all 3 victims, 2 men and a woman, were black. Local law enforcement said that the shooter bought his guns legally and had no criminal history.
The shooter killed 3 people before turning the gun on himself, taking his own life. We are not identifying the deceased victims at this time, but I can tell you that there are 2 male victims and 1 female victim. All of the deceased victims are black. The shooter had authored several manifestos, one to his parents, one to the media, and one to federal agents. Portions of these manifestos detailed the shooter's disgusting ideology of hate. Plainly put, this shooting was racially motivated and he hated black people.
And to express their grief, many people have taken part in a vigil for the Jacksonville shooting victims. A church held a prayer vigil to remember the lives of those killed in Saturday's shooting and to encourage a hurting community during a difficult time.
For these residents that did not deserve what happened. They didn't deserve this. We cannot have someone come from another county and shoot up this community. It ain't no black on black crime. It's a hate crime.
All right, we are slipping into a very short break, but still to come on DD India News are residents of the Florida Panhandle are bracing for tropical storm Dahlia with fears it could strengthen into a hurricane, with authorities warning people to finish preparations by Monday night. Protests are continuing across Japan as people demand an immediate stop to the dumping of treated nuclear wastewater. And Sri Lanka is celebrating the 10-day-long annual festival of the Tooth, with devotees paying homage to the sacred tooth relic of Lord Buddha.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome to Chandigarh.
Swagata. Welcome to the land of breathtaking, natural splendor, magnificent architecture and rich cultural heritage. From the temples of Hampi to the Mysore Palace, from the ruins of the Vijayanagara Empire to Jog Falls and Bandipur Tiger Reserve, Karnataka's diverse and vibrant landscape has much to offer to everyone. With the largest coffee growing area and production of the highest quality of sandalwood, Karnataka is a leading agricultural state of India. Dubbed the Silicon Valley of India, Bengaluru, the capital of Karnataka, is India's leading information technology exporter. The state is a global startup hub and a manufacturing center for some of the largest public sector industries in India, including Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, National Aerospace Laboratories, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. Karnataka is home to India's premier science and technology research centers, such as Indian Space Research Organization, and leads the nation in biotechnology. From its glorious past to a global future, Karnataka presents a perfect blend of India's diverse cultural history and modern outlook.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Protesters continue to demand government action on Japan's release of treated radioactive water. People opposing the move gathered in the capital of South Korea in protest as they fear a looming disaster from Japan's release of treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. Japan began dumping the water from the plant north of Tokyo into the sea last week, despite objections both at home and abroad from fishing communities and others worried about the broader environmental impact. And for the first time, a Fukushima plant media tour was held on Sunday post-water release. Tokyo Electric Power Company workers were seen seated at the plant's control room to monitor levels of water remained in tanks during the water release operation. And before releasing to the ocean, the treated water will be mixed with seawater to reduce the concentration of chemicals. Japan says seawater radioactivity is below limits near Fukushima. All right, we'll go across to Tokyo now, where DD India's Chris Gilbert is joining us. Good morning here from New Delhi. Chris, more test results have come in from the discharged water. What do they show?
Oh, good morning. Yes, so there are 11 survey points in the ocean about 40 kilometers off the coast of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant and the discharge site. They have been monitored over the last few days since the release began. The most recent tests came in yesterday, and what they show are either no traces of tritium, the isotope that remains in the water, or extremely low levels of tritium. They say about 7 to 8 becquerels, or within that range per liter, and that is well within the government safety standards, the Japanese law, and the international safety standards the IAEA, of course, rigorously checked over the last couple of years. The Fukushima prefecture, the local government, has also verified this and done their own independent tests, and have also found extremely low or no levels of tritium in the seawater. Of course, it is early days, and this is going to go on for a few more decades, but certainly good news for the government. What they want to do next is do a check for even lower quantities of tritium in the water, lower than 0.1 becquerel, to really counter the messages coming from countries like China about how dangerous the release is.
Right. Also, Chris, what concerns does Japan's government have for its citizens in China as the backlash against the discharge continues?
Yeah, there have been reports just in the last few days about Japanese schools in China, in Shandong and Jiangsu province, having either rocks or eggs thrown at them. So as you can imagine, there are concerns, especially as there are ongoing calls on Chinese social media for more aggravation and more protests and more action against this discharge, particularly at the Japanese embassy. And to that extent, the embassy has beefed up security, and the embassy as well as the government here in Tokyo is calling on any Japanese nationals in China to be extremely vigilant, especially around embassies and Japanese schools, to stay away from protests, and very interestingly, to not speak Japanese in a loud voice or excessively in public or to draw attention to themselves, and to generally, lay low over the coming days and weeks until this dies down. Experts and political scientists I've spoken to have said that the Japanese government also needs to keep a cool head as it demands that Beijing ask its residents to calm down.
All right, Chris, we'll leave it here. Thank you for giving us your vital inputs. All right, moving on to our next story now. Residents from the Florida Panhandle are being warned to begin storm preparations now, with fierce tropical storm Idalia, which developed in the Caribbean, could strengthen into a hurricane. Is expected to bring high winds and storm surges to the region later this week, with Florida's governor having this to say to those living there.
Now, with respect to Tropical Storm Idalia, it is currently 80 miles off the coast of Cozumel with 35-mile-per-hour winds. It will become a hurricane by late Tuesday afternoon. Landfall is currently expected along the Big Bend region on Wednesday, and it could arrive at the state of Florida as strong as a Category 2 hurricane.
Meanwhile, heavy rains and strong winds have swept across parts of northeastern Spain, with port authorities in Palma saying the conditions caused a ship to collide with the petrol tanker. In other parts of the country, streets are flooded and trees have been torn down, with buildings also damaged from flying debris. And a massive waterspout has been spotted off the coast of southeastern England, with the UK's National Weather Service saying the natural phenomena happened near the Isle of Wight. Waterspouts are similar to tornadoes, but they form over a body of water. And huge parts of China have been battered by continuous heavy rainfall over the past few days. Authorities warn that torrential rains may trigger landslides, floods and mudslides in some places. Heavy rains have also impacted railway operations. According to Met satellites, the areas affected by continued seasonal rainfall will begin to narrow from Monday. The Taliban says it's banning women from entering Bande Amir National Park in Afghanistan, which is a popular weekend destination for families. It's just the latest setback for women in the country, with Taliban officials saying women have not been wearing hijabs properly inside the park. Since the group regained power, females have largely been shunned from public spaces, including bans on them attending schools, working and even going to beauty salons. Now in Sri Lanka, the 10-day-long annual Kandi Isala Parahera, or the Festival of the Tooth, is being celebrated with religious devotion at the temple of the sacred tooth relic in Kandy. The tooth relic of Lord Buddha is a connecting link between India and Sri Lanka, where it is being worshipped as the living Lord Buddha.
The annual Kandi Isala Parahera is being celebrated with devotion at the temple of the sacred tooth relic, or the Dalada Maligava, in Sri Lanka's Kandy. The sacred tooth relic, which is believed to have mystic powers, was brought from India roughly in the 4th century CE, and since then it is being worshipped in Sri Lanka as the living Lord Buddha. Devotees have reached Kandy to catch a glimpse of the tooth relic during the 10-day-long annual Parahera. As per some accounts, the Parahera concept became popular during the reign of Emperor Ashoka. The celebration, which culminates on Nikini Poya Day, involves daily processions and features combined traditions involving various devalas, dances, performances from drum beaters, whip crackers, and magnificent tuskers atop whom the sacred casket is moved. At an auspicious time, the shrine room is cleaned and the casket holding the relic is moved with utmost veneration.
This is Isala Parahera, it's like a cultural event in Sri Lanka. because most of the cultures are connected. So this has a deep meaning inside this perahera as well.
The Festival of Truth, or Kandi Esala Perahera, is the most apt symbol of the shared heritage of Buddhism that binds India and Sri Lanka. The sacred tooth relic of Lord Buddha that was brought from India has been integral to the devotion of people, and this devotion is best seen through this Perahera. For DD India, Ahmed Moin Faruqi from Kandy.
Well, now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Protests are breaking out in Haiti after a demonstration led by a pastor ended, the gangs killing at least 7 people. Human rights groups are calling on local authorities to investigate the incident. The protesters chanted anti-government slogans in the Syrian city of Swida on Sunday, demanding the end to authoritarian rule. Video showed men and women in the main square calling for the downfall of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets for a 7th day, shutting the ruling Baath Party to headquarters in the southwestern Druze city. Sudan's army chief has left the capital Khartoum for the first time since an internal conflict broke out in April. The trip comes after the United Nations warned of regional catastrophe as the violence continues to spread. The army has been fighting the paramilitary rapid support forces over control of the capital and several other cities. Officials say Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan also aims to leave Sudan for talks in neighboring countries after visiting some regional bases. The UN has warned that hunger, disease, malnutrition and displacement threatens to consume the entire country. Three US Marines were killed in an aircraft crash off the coast of northern Australia on Sunday while transporting troops during a routine military exercise. 5 others were transported to Royal Darwin Hospital in serious condition. They were among the 23 Marines on board the MV-22B Osprey aircraft when it crashed. Alright, for years, restaurants and food vendors in Tanzania's commercial city of Dar es Salaam have been serving Indian food. The phenomena has helped propagate Indian culture in East Africa. DD India's Daniel Kijo has more.
At a fancy restaurant in Dar es Salaam, a taste of India comes to life. For years, Indian cuisine has enjoyed undying popularity among locals and visitors. As a result, some of the city's residents are able to run a thriving business.
We are constantly maintaining because we have the standardization of recipes. So that makes our products you eat today, or if you're eating 3 years back, also you will feel the same taste.
Known for its aromatic curries and creamy coconut milk-based dishes, Indian cuisine draws many adoring fans.
Very flavorful at all times. Like, I've never had a bad moment with Indian food. The restaurants themselves are very welcoming, very nice people, so yeah.
Because of its prevalence in Swahili culture, Indian food is often referred as Swahili food in East Africa. During the colonial era, traders and settlers from India brought their food with them to East Africa. Indian culture has since influenced the region. Whether it's fine dining in a fancy restaurant or delicious street meals downtown, Dar es Salaam does not disappoint. Be it sweet, spicy or savory, you can find something in almost any part of the city. Palak Patel, an aspiring food blogger and business owner, says decades of experimentation by cooks in the region have aided the evolution of Indian cuisine.
We have the chicken tikka masalas, we have the butter chickens, we have the jira chickens, we have the naans, and we have the paneers and all of those things. But they've got a special twist to it because of the spices that are used. And I think that is what differentiates us with everything else.
Innovative ideas appear to be keeping Indian culinary traditions alive in East Africa. With each bite, the region's people continue to connect with the culture of the Indian subcontinent thousands of miles away. Daniel Kijo in Dar es Salaam reporting for DD India.
Alright, time now for another short break, but still to come on DD India News are India's top science advisors are set to discuss the country's pressing development issues when they hold a roundtable event later on Monday. One of the biggest financial programs in India, PM Jan Dhan Yojana, reaches a major milestone. More than 500 million people have now joined the financial inclusion plan. And celebrations are continuing following the success of India's Chandrayaan 3 moon mission, with kids from the city of Bhubaneswar making replicas of the spacecraft from chocolate.
Welcome to the fascinating world of Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Unravel the rich history. And traditions of these places. Marvel at the stories that lie in its beautiful architecture. Bask in the tranquility of its greenery and beaches. Experience the agelessness of its traditional handicrafts and handloom industry. Recognize its industrial leadership. And celebrate Diu's commitment to a sustainable future.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome to a happy place. To nature's warm embrace. Witness the power of faith, fruits of hard work, and protectors of Mother Earth. Unique in every way. Discover something new every day. A small state with big ambitions. And a bigger heart. Mizoram welcomes to love, laughter, and celebrations.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. And the viewers who have just tuned in, let's get to the recap of what we have done so far. Ukraine says elections could happen with Western help. Russia continues to strike, launches overnight air attack on northern Ukraine. Police in the US are treating Sunday's shooting and killing of 3 black people in Florida as a hate crime, as records reveal the white man who purchased the guns did so legally. India's Space Research Organization has released the first set of data sent by Chandrayaan-3 mission, saying the temperature on the moon's surface goes up sharply with an increase in altitude. And India's Neeraj Chopra wins historic gold in javelin final, becomes first Indian athlete to win a gold medal at the World Athletics Championships. All right, in a first of its kind, Chandrayaan-3 profiled the temperature of soil on the moon's south pole. The Indian Space Research Organization shared the updates of the observations. It said the temperature could be somewhere around 20 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade on the surface, but it is 70 degrees centigrade. The observation was made with the help of Chandrayaan's surface thermophysical experiment payload on board its Vikram lander. Nilesh M. Desai, who is the director at Space Application Center in Western City of Ahmedabad, said the observations present an analysis of the soil at the lunar south pole, along with the temperature fluctuations up to 10 centimeter beneath the surface.
चास्टे पेलोड जो इनिशियल एक्सपेरिमेंट किए हैं उसके जो नतीजे सामने आए हैं कि लगभग 8 से 10 सेंटीमीटर तक वो जा सकता है, तो 8 सेंटीमीटर तक के डेटा जो हमने लिए हैं उसके मुताबिक -10 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड से लेके +50 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड के अलग अलग डेटा 10 सेंसरों ने कलेक्ट किए हैं.
And celebrations are continuing after India's successful moon landing, with the touchdown point where the Chandrayaan-3 landed now being called Shiv Shakti, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi making that announcement.
चंद्रमा के जिस स्थान पर चंद्रयान-2 ने अपने पदचिन्ह छोड़े हैं, वो पॉइंट अब तिरंगा कहलाएगा. ये तिरंगा पॉइंट भारत के हर प्रयास की प्रेरणा बनेगा. ये तिरंगा पॉइंट हमें सीख देगा कि कोई भी विफलता आखिरी नहीं होती, और जहां पर चंद्रयान-3 का मून लैंडर पहुंचा है, वो स्थान आज से शिव शक्ति पॉइंट कहलाएगा.
This was a historic announcement when Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached ISRO and bowed down to India's knowledge, science and research tradition. Naming the spot where Chandrayaan-3 landed as a Shiva Shakti and the area on the moon where Chandrayaan-2 left its footprints as Tiranga is a reflection of our timeless heritage, our tradition and our development. This is the evidence of the emergence of a new India, at the root of which is the deep knowledge of the ancient sages.
हमारे ऋषियों ने कहा है, येन कर्माण्य पशो मनीषिणो यज्ञे कुण्वन्ति वित्तेषु धीरः यत्पूर्व यक्षमन्तः प्रजानां तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु. अर्थात जिस मन से हम कर्तव्य कर्म करते हैं, विचार और विज्ञान को गति देते हैं, और जो सबके भीतर मौजूद है, वो मन शुभ और कल्याणकारी संकल्पों से जुड़े.
In his address to ISRO scientists, the Prime Minister taught the new generation a lesson that it should be proud of its ancient heritage as well as preserve and promote it.
मैं चाहता हूं कि भारत के शास्त्रों में जो खगोलीय सूत्र है, उन्हें साइंटिफिकली प्रूव करने के लिए, नए सिरे से उनके अध्ययन के लिए नई पीढ़ी आगे आए। ये हमारी विरासत के लिए भी जरूरी है और विज्ञान के लिए भी जरूरी है।
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is moving forward with impressive strides in science, technology, and modern development while preserving its ancient faith, cultural, and spiritual heritage. The period after 2014 is witness to the rise of cultural nationalism in India. With the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, the campaign to proudly restore the ancient glory of the country is in full swing. We got a glimpse of India's pluralistic culture when Sangol, a historical symbol of Tamil culture, was installed in the Temple of Democracy. The new Parliament House is not just a building, but an attempt to connect our history, cultural heritage, tradition and civilization with modernity. The walls of the new Parliament are decorated with the symbols of Indianness. The conch shape of the Bharat Mandapam, dedicated to the nation recently, and the configuration of its Panch Mahabhutas gives the world a new understanding of ancient culture. The passing of the National Research Foundation Bill in the last Parliament session, the promotion of mother tongue in the new education policy, the promotion of yoga, Ayurveda and Ayush illustrate how India is progressing through knowledge, science and research by cherishing its heritage. With Ashwini Mishra, Rahul Singh reporting for DD India.
And the second and final G20 Chief Science Advisors Roundtable is taking place in the western state of Gujarat under India's presidency on Monday. The Chief Science Advisors will address issues related to scientific research, technology development and its deployment. Delegates visited the Modhera Sun Temple for the cultural programs on Sunday. India also held bilateral meeting with Saudi Arabia, Australia and the UK on the sidelines of the second meeting of G20 CSAR on Sunday. The delegations discussed key shared priorities. And the G20 India Agriculture Tech Summit is happening today here in India's capital, New Delhi. The summit is being seen as a flagship event exclusively dedicated to the revolutionary field of agriculture. Discussions will center around innovations in agri-tech and the impact on the agriculture sector as well as sustainable farming practices in the digital age. And the G20 Cultural Ministerial meeting has concluded in Varanasi with a common outcome document for action. G20 culture ministers visited historical places like Sarnath. They were taken to a museum and archaeological sites at Sarnath. It is a place in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh where Lord Buddha delivered his first sermon.
India has more than 20 World Heritage Sites inscribed and many others to be discovered by the world. So yes, it's one of the ancient civilizations. So I believe that many things will happen with India and UNESCO in the years to come.
It was a very productive meeting. There's always more to do, and we look forward to continuing the conversation about how important culture is to all our countries and how we need to work across the globe collectively to ensure we protect incredible heritage like this.
It's been excellent. We've had very good discussions. The Government of India has organised a brilliant presidency, and the Culture Minister's track has been a really excellent meeting. It's also been wonderful to do it here in the ancient city of Varanasi and to enjoy so many of the wonderful cultural highlights that India has. And I'm, as the Minister from the UK, it's a delight to see the long-standing friendship and links there are between our countries, the living bridge there is between Britain and India, and to discuss some of the ways we can deepen that relationship and continue the friendship and work in collaboration together.
Now, a special chart named after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been created that is available only at an eatery in Australia. It's bringing a distinct local Indian delicacy to a global audience.
A special chart, now named after Prime Minister Narendra Modi, available at Chatka's restaurant located at Harris Park, Sydney, Australia. The dish is named Modi Ji Special Chaat at the Indian eatery famous for its local Indian cuisines as a tribute after it was praised by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his bilateral visit to Australia while he was addressing the Indian community this year.
चटका की चाट, जयपुर स्वीट्स की जलेबी, उसका तो कोई जवाब ही नहीं है। मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है, आप लोग कभी मेरे मित्र पीएम एल्बनीज़ी को भी वहां जरूर ले जाइएगा।
The Australian Prime Minister, just a month after the recommendation by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visited the food joints and tried jalebi, an Indian dessert, along with chaat. Australian PM Albanese termed chaat and jalebi a winner after relishing the Indian delicacies. Prime Minister Modi responded to the tweet by saying, "Sounds like a memorable Friday night, imbibing the best of Indian culture and culinary diversity. A winner indeed, like the India-Australia friendship." The owner of the restaurant thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi and called the renaming of the dish a tribute to him by his restaurant.
Thank you so much. 2-3 महीने पहले यहाँ पे मोदी जी आए थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, तो मोदी जी ने चटकास का जिक्र किया था कि चटकास की चाट का कोई जवाब नहीं है.
The customers are also keen on getting their hands on this delicacy that is now named after Prime Minister Modi.
मोदी जी ने रिकमेंड किया था चटकास का चाट, तब से हम चाट की हर एक आइटम टेस्ट कर चुके हैं यहाँ चटकास में, और स्पेशली तो मोदी जी का चाट ये खा के जो मोदी जी की मिठास है वही इस चाट में है. वाह वाह.
Prime Minister Modi and PM Albanese had laid the foundation stone of the Little India Gateway at the event at Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney this year, a sign of the growing Indo-Australian ties. With Bureau Inputs, Akshay Dongre's report for DD India.
All right, now let's take a look at other stories making news across India. The Manipur government has taken up an alternative route for transporting essential commodities to the Churachandpur district. The new route is through Assam's Silchar and Mizoram's Aizawl due to a disruption on the Imphal-Dimapur route amid ongoing violence in the state. The plan is being carried out in coordination with the Army, Central Armed Police Forces and Assam Rifles. A district-level committee is also monitoring the price of 22 essential commodities, including rice, wheat, pulses, edible oil, milk, among others, due to the disruption. And security forces in the Indian state of Manipur recovered 11 types of ammunition during a search operation on Sunday. The combined teams of state police and central security forces are making efforts to recover the arms and ammunition that were snatched or taken from the state police during recent violence in the state. Manipur police say that several checkpoints have been installed in different districts, adding that as many as 1,405 people have been detained from different districts over security violations. At least 10 people are dead and 8 others are injured after a massive blast at an illegal firecracker factory in the eastern Indian state of West Bengal, which tore the roof off the building. The authorities say 3 of the wounded are children, with the district magistrate vowing to crack down on people involved in the illegal explosive schemes. In India's southern city of Chennai, excited motor enthusiasts were stoked as a vintage car exhibition with 68 cars and 20 bikes rolled into town. The exhibit showcased vintage models of Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Austin and Jaguar. Auto lovers rejoiced as they relived the nostalgia and also took pictures with the classic beauties. All right, time now for another short break, but still to come on DD India News. Oil ticks higher after China moves to support flagging economy. In sports, ICC Men's One-Day International World Cup inches closer. India will host the 45-day-long tournament at 10 locations. It takes two to tango. 20th anniversary of the World Championship in Buenos Aires has spotlight on glamour, rhythm to enthrall the audience.
Welcome to Mahabalipuram, a coastal town full of delight, where history, art and natural beauty unite. Explore this sacred ground, where spirituality and divinity are closely bound. Stroll along the sandy shore, where sunsets leave you wanting for more. Wander through the Panchrathas, monuments of might, carved in stone, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Let the rock-cut caves transport you in time, where legends and myths intertwine. Immerse yourself in culture art, where music and dance captivate every heart. So visit Mahabalipuram. Let its magic unfold, where the ancient stories never grow old. Take in the richness of its hue. Let the spirit leave a lasting impression on you. Welcome to Mahabalipuram.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Now, India's financial inclusion plan has hit a significant milestone with over 500 million accounts now registered. The PM Jan Dhan Yojana launched in 2014 with the goal of getting more people into the formal banking sector. To talk on this achievement, DD India correspondent spoke to Secretary Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, Vivek Joshi.
As India celebrates 9 years of Jan Dhan account, we have crossed about 50 crore accounts in this segment. This was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi about 9 years back. I am joined by Finance Secretary Vivek Joshi ji. Welcome to DD India. How do you look at the reasons for this scheme to be such a grand success? In the last 9 years, I mean, we are touching 50 crore accounts right now. So what are the reasons behind this success?
So there are, many reasons for the success of this scheme. This has been the grand vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, and he launched this scheme on 28th of August 2014. And in 9 years, we have been able to achieve around 50 crore accounts till August 2023. And that is very satisfying. And many agencies of the government, outside the government, have worked it to make it as a public campaign, people's movement, and that is why we have been successful to come up to this number.
Now that we have touched 50 crore accounts, what next for the ministry? What are you targeting? Maybe another 50 crores in the next 5 years?
We look at the total number of accounts and the total population of the country, then we will see that we are almost near saturation. So, I mean, covering another 50 crore is a slightly tall ask. So if we look at the total number of accounts, including these 50 crore account, they are approximately 160 crore. Whereas our population is maybe approximately 136 crore or 137 crore. I mean, it's anybody's guess. So we are near saturation, but still there are people who need to be covered under this scheme. They need to be opened their account. Each year we are adding almost 3 crore new beneficiaries into the fold of this scheme, and we will continue doing that, for which we take various campaigns at different points of time. We just finished one campaign in last July. We propose to do another campaign from October. In these campaigns, we not only cover this Jan Dhan accounts, but we also motivate the participants of these camps for enrolling themselves in PMJJBY and PMSBY, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana.
Thank you, Mr. Joshi, for joining us, and wish you many more success in this sector. And we at DD and India also wish that this Jan Dhan account, which is a noble cause taken up by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to include the marginalized section into mainstream banking and financial services. With camera person Kumar Dutt, this is Dibyendu Mondal for DD India from New Delhi.
Our nation shares rallied on Monday as China announced new measures to support its ailing markets. Beijing on Sunday announced it would halve the stamp duty on stock trading in the latest attempt to boost the struggling market and follow steps to support the housing market. All right, time now for sporting updates. India's star javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra has bagged the gold medal at the World Athletics Championships being held in Budapest, Hungary with a throw of 88.17 meters. Neeraj Chopra is the only Indian athlete who will bring home a medal. So these are the celebration shots that we are showing you from Panipat, Neeraj Chopra's hometown. They are all celebrating Neeraj Chopra's victory. The first Indian to bring medal in World Athletics Championships. In fact, gold medal in World Athletics Championships. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the Golden Boy for winning the gold medal. On social media platform X, formerly called Twitter, he wrote, and I quote, "The talented Neeraj Chopra exemplifies excellence. His dedication, precision and passion make him not just a champion in athletics but a symbol of unparalleled excellence in the entire sports world. Congrats to him for winning the gold at the World Athletics Championships." So this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted. And Indian Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur also congratulated Neeraj Chopra on winning the gold medal. The minister says the entire nation is proud of his achievements.
The golden boy of athletics, I must say that he has done it again. We are so proud of his achievements. Congratulations to Neeraj Chopra. 1.4 billion Indians feels proud today. And not only Neeraj Chopra but the other two players have done also well. We're among the top 5. There were about 3 players who have done extremely well. And I'm sure they'll keep it up for the next Asian Games and the Olympic Games.
And in steeplechase, Indian athlete Parul Chaudhary finished 11th in the women's 3000 meters final, setting a new national record of 9:15:31 seconds. The result means Chaudhary goes under the entry standard of 9:23:00 seconds to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. And India's 4x400 relay team finished 5th, while the USA claimed gold, France won silver and Great Britain won bronze. The Indian relay team had earlier set an Asian record time in the semi-final heats, but they could only manage a 5th place finish, clocking a time of 2:59:92 seconds. And the ICC Men's One-Day International World Cup inches closer, and host India's campaign will start on the 8th of October in Chennai against Australia. The final will take place in the world's biggest stadium in Ahmedabad. India will host the 45-day-long tournament at 10 locations.
The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 will begin on October 5th as England will face New Zealand in the opening match. India will host the 45 days long event at 10 locations. The showcase tournament will feature a total of 10 teams. The top 4 teams advance to the knockout stage and semi-finals after each team plays the other 9 teams in a round-robin style. Hosts India's campaign will get underway on October 8th in Chennai against the 5-time World Cup champions Australia. Key fixtures. Apart from the cracking opening encounter and India's face-off with 2019 semi-finalists Australia, the tournament is filled with a host of crucial clashes. The much-anticipated India-Pakistan clash is scheduled for Sunday, October 15th in Ahmedabad. Their last encounter in the 2019 World Cup was a high-scoring affair, with India achieving a huge victory in Manchester. Pakistan will face Australia in Bengaluru on October 20, while England clash against South Africa the next day in Mumbai. Australia face their arch-rivals England on November 4th in Ahmedabad. Knockout stages. The first semi-final will be held on Wednesday, November 15th in Mumbai, and the second semi-final will be held the following day in Kolkata. Both semi-finals will have a reserve day. The final will take place at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on November 19th, with November 20 slated as the reserve day. All 3 knockout fixtures will be day-night affairs. Tournament venues. There will be a total of 10 venues across the country for the World Cup. Guwahati and Thiruvananthapuram, in addition to Hyderabad, will host the warm-up matches from September 29 to October 3rd. Guwahati will be hosting a World Cup warm-up match for the first time, giving a boost to India's Act East policy, an effort by the Government of India to cultivate extensive economic and strategic relations with Southeast Asia. A total of 10 venues, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Dharamshala, Delhi, Chennai, Lucknow, Pune, Bengaluru, Mumbai and Kolkata will host the tournament. The final match will take place at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Sports Desk, DD India.
An elegance takes center stage as couple from all over the world grace the stage in Tango World Championship qualifiers in Buenos Aires. There was a graceful display of talent and culture. This year is the 20th anniversary of the World Tango Championship. Take a look. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.